Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be learning how to make this on the bus guard dart corset top. I won't say it's a really corset top. It doesn't have any dart or waist cuff. It's just a straight top. But I'll just take you. I've already drafted out the lines, but I'll just take you on the line. So I'll place it on your shoulder line. You get your foot top length. I use 23.5. Then I got her chest line, her bust point, her waist, and her under bust. That is it. The first line is her chest line, the second line is her bust point, third line is her under bust, and the fourth one is her waist, while the last one is her hip line. So the first thing is to take your bust measurement. After taking your bust measurement, you take your hip measurement. Here I didn't really take a hip measurement because I don't want it to have curve at the waist. So whatever you have at your bust line, you just come down, like you just take it down to the hip. Doesn't have any waist curve, please. It doesn't have any waist curve, but I just tried like curving it for it to have a bit curve. So I got her chest. So I went to her waist. On her waist I reduced whatever I have at her bust. I reduced it by 1 inch. Like assuming you have like 30, then you get to her waist, use 29.5. So that was what I did there for it to have a little curve. There is no curve, just a straight top. And here it doesn't have that. So at her hip line I went up by 1/2 inch just to give it a little curve at the waist, which it doesn't still have any waist curve, but I just have to do it. So the next thing is to get your nipple to nipple. If you want it yours to have that, I just did it, but I didn't really use it. I just drafted it out, but I didn't use it. So use your nipple to nipple plus 1/2 inch. Assuming your nipple to nipple is 8 plus 1/2 inch, that is, you should have 4.5 when you divide it by 2. So that was, you just extend the line. So at her bust point I went in by 1/2 inch, her hip 1/2 inch, her waist 1/2 inch. Then I connected the lines. I'm not going to use this. I just did this. I didn't really cut on it, and that was how I did this cut because I don't want it to be curvy. Assuming I was going to use it. So her neck width, I used 3 inches neck width, the back depth 1, then the front depth is 3. So it's a V neck, so I didn't really draw it. So I just used a dotted line to get the V straight to her under bust because it stopped at her under bust. If you don't want yours to be like that, so whatever you have at on your shoulder, after taking your neckline, you divide it by 2, then connect it to your under bust. Then you take your round waist measurement and your round bust measurement. Then you don't need your hip measurement for this, whatever you have at your bust. So this is what I have. Like the waist is, if I'm going to use the waist, there is going to be curvy, but I don't want it to be curvy. So I try using this neckline to see. I drew 2 neckline, but I ended up using the first neckline. So, and I didn't really give it that curve. I didn't really curve that waist the way I wanted it to be. So here is the thing. Here is just the way it is. Connect your shoulder slope, then trim your armhole, your front armhole. So I'm going to use it to cut the back before cutting the front. So I was checking on the fabric to use. This one is a bit thick. I ended up not using, so I used a chiffon fabric. 2 yards of fabric or 1.5 can do this for you. So I trimmed off the neckline. Please, for the front V that it has, I went up by 4 inches, then went out by 1 inch, then connected it with a V line, just this way. The down part, that V part, this is not on fold if it's on. So for the underbust, I went to the underbust, then cut it out cut it. I said I wasn't going to use the dart, so I didn't even bother cutting the dart this thing. So I'm going to pleat it. I'm going to pleat the shoulder. So you have to measure what you have at the shoulder before pleating, before slashing it. So I slashed it. I'm going to use slash and spread method so that I can have what to gather at the shoulder. So that is just it. So I place the down part to cut exactly what I have there. The down, like this is the down part. You just have to cut exactly what you have there. So that is just it. You can add half inch allowance to the upper part. I didn't really add because I was going to add it to the side I'm going to slash. So that is just exactly what you should have there. You are going to line it with the same fabric. Please, you have to line it with the same fabric. So, and I didn't bring allowance for, and you are going to split it open. The front should be, so then I indicated to know the front, and so this is how it will look. So this is what I have. I didn't add any buttonhole allowance because I was going to create my own buttonhole allowance. So there is no point adding any buttonhole allowance. So the next thing is to slash it to how wide you want it to be. I used like 9 inches. The wideness is 9 inches. So I slashed the up and the down. So I had to slash the up. I measured it to see if it was okay. It was okay. I just had to add a paper to this to slash it, and that was it. So I just opened it up. The next thing is to slash the front. I used like 1 inch space. I gave it like 1 inch space, so I connected the lines and I had to slash it also. I measured to see how much I have, so when I gather it, I'll gather it up to that amount. Here, slashing this and spreading this will be a little bit difficult because the fabric is not straight that much, so you just have to try on your own to slash it the way you'll be able to open it. So I think I gave 1 inch space, just up to 1 inch gap. So I slash it. I place another paper under it for me to, when I slash, I can now trim out the new paper. 1 inch space. You can do more than this if you'll be able to slash more than that. So this will not be really easy, so I have to measure the lines very well to make sure they are correct. So I was done, then I trimmed it out. So this is what I have for the front. The front, you have to cut this front. You are going to have 2 pieces of this, 2 pieces. Like I doubled it so that I'll use it for the lining, but please, it's better before slashing it, you just have to cut out the lining so that the lining doesn't have any slash. So you don't need to slash and spread the lining. Just before you slash the upper part, cut out the lining. I ended up not using the lining because I had to close it back to cut out the lining. There's no point like gathering using pleats on the lining or gathering it. Just before slashing it, make sure you cut out your lining. That was the mistake that I made, but I corrected it because I had to close it back before cutting out the lining. So you just cut it exactly the same thing. You can add your allowance if you like, but I didn't add any allowance. So this is it. Remember to mark, to measure what you have before cutting it out. So I have 2 pieces of this. This is where I'm going to pleat the shoulder, then pleat the down. The shoulder is 3.75. I'll pleat to it. So here is the front. I'll gather it and attach it to the front pattern. You just have to have 2 pieces of the upper one, 2 pieces of the down one, two piece each. So here is the down one. Here is the down one. I was just checking to know if there's, then I notched the center of it for me to know where to start attaching it. So that is just it. So because I wanted the lining to be 1 inch shorter, so I had to trim down the line. The next thing is to cut a straight rope that you'll be attaching, like the one you use for the button. This is 1 inch wide, 1 inch wide. Then you can use any length of your choice. So you fold it and turn it out. That is, if you want it to come out tiny, you just have to measure 1 inch. So before attaching the holes, you go down by ½ inch. From the upper part, you go down by ½ inch. Then from ½ inch, you go down by half inch. That was what I used for the buttonhole. This me creating the button case, like marking the lines where I will attach the rope after turning it. Just place it like this. Stitch it. After doing it, you just pin it this way, then attach it, stitch back stitch on it. That was, you are going to do it at one part of this thing, is not the two. One will have the button, then the other one will have the button case. That is just what I did. Then you use your lining to cover it whenever you are done. So this is the top. I'm done joining it. I used 1 inch to shape it, but it's like I'm still going to add another one. So this is what I said about the button. This is what I said about inserting the button case. This is it. And also gather the shoulder. I use gather. Then I also gather this the front. And here, this part, I gathered it a little bit. I just wanted the gather to be at the bust point, so I left 3 inches here, then gathered a bit here. So this is how it's looking. The next thing now is to also do the lining, then get the midpoint of the neck. Also get the midpoint, place it, and turn the lining around and show you the neck. After turning it around with your lining, just bring it out from the armhole. I'm sorry guys, I mistakenly deleted the clip that has the sleeve part, but it's just our normal sleeve that you can just insert your elastic to the ribs, and just that, it's just that simple. Thank you.